Phew. Hi, welcome to Coin Savvy, where we make personal finance simple and relatable. I'm Rachel, and today we'll be talking about a topic that's rather close to my heart. So, if you are looking to make a big change in your life or you just want to be more financially secure, this video is for you. I'll be getting into the steps that I took to financially prepare to quit my job. So, let's get into it. A bit of a backstory. When I got into this role that I'm referring to, I knew that I was going to quit from the moment I took the job. I had had some experience with my boss in a previous role at a different job, and I got a bit of an inkling that it was going to be a toxic work environment. Spoiler alert, I was right. So when I got into it, I just knew it was going to be a matter of time until I knew that I needed a change. Yeah. And how I decided taking the steps, or the experience that molded me into taking the steps, is that back in 2020, just like March, when it hit, I ended up losing my job. And what did I not have? Any savings or an emergency fund. Yeah, I had nothing to speak of. And the experience that I had during that period, fortunately, ended up getting a job within the same year. So at least I was able to get an income again. But it really taught me a lot. And then the funny thing is, I knew about emergency funds and that one should have one in order to prepare for such eventualities. However, funny story, I had started my emergency fund in 2016, and I'd been regularly contributing to it. And then I ended up buying a phone that I've been dreaming of, the Samsung S8 Plus. I depleted my emergency fund, and once I depleted it, I just never started contributing again. So you can imagine, from like 2017 to 2020, I had the opportunity to do that, and then I just did. So I was very ill prepared for that experience, and I decided I will actually never let this happen to me again. So now that I've given you context for how I came about taking these steps, then I will, then I'm going to get into it right now. So, a quick disclaimer before I get started. These are the steps that I decided to take when I was preparing to quit my job. I am not in any way, shape, or form prescribing to you what you should do. However, I really hope that whatever I share, one, helps you learn something new and is also helpful to you. The first thing I did is open an MMF exclusively for my emergency fund. And MMF stands for Money Market Fund, and it's a short term investment option. What they do is invest in low risk options such as treasury bills and fixed deposits. And they are a really good way for you to save your money because they offer a higher rate of return as compared to a savings account in a bank. Yeah. So I ended up choosing Britam to open an MMF account with. I can't say I did any research. What I did do was just ask a colleague at work what MMF they're in. They told me Britam, and then they gave me a contact for a sales agent. I got in touch with them, emailed them the documents, and they opened the account for me. However, if you'd like, I am happy to get into how you choose an MMF that will suit your needs in a future video. And then for me, the main reason why I chose an MMF is because, one, you can easily access your funds, one, depending on the amount, almost immediately or within 24 hours. And two, I knew I wasn't going to incur any extra charges if I only did monthly withdrawals, which was the plan. The second thing I did was track my expenses. I did this as religiously as I could, and I used two main tools. One, Money Manager app, on my phone, and I would document my expenses daily. And then at the end of the month, I would transfer them onto a Google Sheet. I will provide links for both of this below. And the main reason why I tracked my expenses is that I wanted to know what do I need to live on. I was like, okay, so on a month to month basis, what can I survive on and what can I live without? So tracking my expenses, I think I started doing that properly maybe from 2021. So tracking my expenses for that amount of time like gave me a very good idea of how much I would need to survive after I quit my job. The third thing I did was contribute consistently to my emergency fund. I made a contribution every single month without fail. And anytime I got any extra income, say for example from a bonus at work, I would contribute um, I would contribute extra for that particular month. So yeah, the consistent contributions were a non-negotiable for me. So the third thing I did was pay off all my major expenses. For me, those were only two. I had to pay off my braces, still have them on. I'm tired of them, can't wait to get them off. And two, buying my phone. So just to give you a bit of a context, such a bit of context, so that you can understand the timeline. I started this job that I'm referring to in 2020, and I end up quitting in 2023. For my braces, I got them in May of 2021, and I gave myself a timeline of 1 year to pay off the remainder of the cost for the treatment after paying the deposit. So the deposit was half the amount, and then I was meant to pay the remainder of the half for the duration of the treatment. However, I wanted to be done within a shorter period of time, so I ended up paying off my braces in May of 2022. And then for my phone, I started the saving in January of 2022. I saved up until August of that year, and then I stopped making payments towards the MMF for saving for that for the remainder of the year. And then I resumed in January and ended up in January of 2023, ended up making the purchase in April of 2023. And I'm glad I did that because that's what I'm currently using to shoot this right now. The reason why I did this is because I knew the money I had set aside for my emergency fund was meant to keep me alive. So I wanted to get these major expenses out of the way while I still had an income. Because if I did not, then it would mean I would have to go into my emergency fund, taking away money that I needed to stay alive. The fifth and last thing I did was buy essentials in bulk, mainly from Carrefour. I'm not one to shop in bulk, but it is something I am definitely looking into doing once I figure out how to do it cost efficiently and without wastage. What I did is stock up on food items and cleaning necessities whenever they were on sale. I focused on essential items such as cooking oil, rice, tissue, detergent, soap, etc. Basically, things that I knew that I would need on an everyday basis. Once again, I did this while I still had an income and could afford to spend larger sums of money on such items. And I did this knowing that in future, when I transitioned into a tighter budget, this would not be a luxury that I would have. This was a habit I had before I decided to quit, but as the deadline crept closer, I just made more of an effort to be more intentional about it. Before I recorded this video, I asked my friends what I should include, and they said they would want to know what I wish I would have done differently. To be honest, all in all, I am happy with the approach I took because I feel like I had a very good balance between saving for this major transition in my life as well as enjoying the income that I had coming in then. One thing I would change is diversifying my investment strategy early enough. Had I invested in infrastructure bonds earlier, I would have used the returns that I was getting then to invest in the MMF for my emergency fund. And then after quitting, I would be able to supplement the funds that I was getting from my emergency fund with the returns that I would also get from the infrastructure bond. If you've made it to the end, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.